In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to put your M1 Garand back together. So the first thing you have to put together is your bolt. What you want to do is make sure you're looking at this side, not this side. What you're going to do is you're going to slide it down in here. And if you look, you can see it's got to be lined up just right in order to go in. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting yourself all day long. Next thing to go in is your operating rod. So what that does, goes in there just like so. Kind of slides up that way. Now remember, you got to get that. This guy goes over this guy right here, and it drops into that little notch right there. And then make sure you got it done right. Set this guy up right here like that. If that moves with that, she's good to go. Now here comes the tricky part, is getting all this stuff lined up correctly. The easiest way to do this is take this guy, see how it's got the notches cut out for it? That just kind of pushes in there and just stays right there like that. Now this guy, if you look here, so this guy sits down in there like that, but if you look, it's got this little deal here that kind of pivots. So it has to go, this guy comes up and slides down in there like that, but it's got to go so that this is underneath this part that moves up and down like that, but that little tab, that little ear down there in the bottom, has to be underneath that little button there. And you'll know that's together right, because if you push down on this, see how that moves like that? That's how you know that's done right. So the next thing you'll put in there is this guy right here. You'll make sure this side is facing down. And if you look here, you'll see this is cut. It only goes in there one way. So now, it's kind of hard to do one-handed. So I'm going to lean this up right here like this. This guy, you pick up on it in here, because if you look, it's grooved perfectly. That guy rests inside there. So that guy sits down just like so. Side of the groove. This guy twists in, and then like that. And then you'll line it up inside there, and then it sits down in there. So now that you've got all that put together, you should be able to look inside that pinhole, and everything is perfectly lined up. You just push that pin in till it snaps like that. This part is also a little bit tricky because you have to put these little forks back on these little nubs here on all, so that way that's putting tension and holding everything together. So to do that, it's pretty simple. Just take your spring, you feed her in there, and it's going to try to move on you a little bit. You also want to make sure you have this guy, not like this, but like this. So this curve is pointing down. So you stab that down in there. Your hand, you try to, and then once that's there, it just clicks into place. That's how you do that. At this point in time, we're ready to put the stock back on. This is pretty simple, but if you do it wrong, it's kind of frustrating. See this little nipple on the end of the stock? That actually slides down inside of that. If you don't do it that way, it doesn't line up, and you'll never get it back together. And you just put your hand back here. You just push down like that. Slide it around that way. Make sure there's no huge gaps or nothing. As long as everything's put together right, you should not have any issues putting the stock back on. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our trigger group back in. You want to make sure you have your trigger guard folded up, otherwise it can't go back in. And you snap her into place like that. Push that down till it clicks, and she's good to go. The next thing you'll want to do is a quick functions check. So what you do is grab that like that, pull it back. That popped up, which is stopping the bolt from going forward. So that's working like it's supposed to. The next thing you'll want to do, push this down. That's going to slide forward like that. That's working like it's supposed to. Now, I've already verified there's no bullets in here, so give the trigger a little squeeze. Firing pin works like it's supposed to. She's ready to rock and roll.